like, yeah, you're right about that, but I think some of the let's say there's like what's called hyperbole, and I'm like, yeah, you're right about that, but
And would
come
you
on,
say like I did hyperbole, or I'm criticizing Ethan for doing hyperbole?
I'm thinking some of the people who say something is a bit hyperbole. The one I can remember right now is because I hate that I kind of went back and forth and I clicked here and there and I might have lost track of who was talking, if it was your channel or a different channel,
Okay,
just
yeah.
because I accidentally. But I think when you had spoken about the giving the clothes away thing,
Oh
donating
yeah.
clothes, that was you, okay. So, and I'm like, yeah, I kind of understood what you're saying. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, I only saw a bit of that from the H3 people.
Right.
Whenever they
Ethan wasn't
put it,
involved in that at all.
yeah, I just saw a little bit of when they said, "Oh, can you believe it?" And I'm like, and the servants is like, look, it just seems like, look, he's fucking being petty. Be like, fucking, let me get rid of this shit. Let me just get rid of it, and I'll make a video. And whether or not he cared if someone saw, or he's giving away the
The
Ethan's
Teddy
mercs that he
Fresh.
gave him. Yeah, it was like, oh, he's just being petty, whatever. It ain't a crime to be petty, but I just think, oh, come on, like that's kind of stupid. But someone might see it, and I think that's the only criticism you could have given him for. If anyone made a big deal out of it, oh my fucking god, look at what he's doing. Like posted and or insufferable about it and made a whole drama react video. They're either doing
That
it
it
for
was
just
pretty funny
attention.
though. You have to admit it's funny that people are getting mad about Hasan saying he doesn't like the clothes that their content creator is selling. Right? Like, is that not
Mhm.
funny?
That he doesn't like the clothes that
Like, okay, because
which
you
con-
have to admit that the Teddy Fresh clothing is a very specific style, and it's not like
yeah.
it's just a T-shirt and Hassan's like a random hater, and he's like,
hmm
"Yeah, I don't wear all of these clothes," and then people are getting mad about that. Like that's kind of funny, right?
And it is funny, but it's a little bit. I guess I'd be like, oh, you're kind of being. I think now you're saying this. You wouldn't say this earlier, whenever like you were friends with him, quote unquote. That's
Right.
why I say it's like, yeah, I get it, but you're also just saying that shit because you're just you're trying to petty and you're trying to be petty like that. Like, come on, dude. Like to
Well,
me,
I,
that's
I
just like
think the
pathetic to do
opposite.
that.
I honestly think it's the opposite is true though. Like I think there's an incentive for Hassan to like the clothes that Ethan has when he's like friends with Ethan, right? Because of course you support your friend's clothing
Yeah,
business.
I also believe, yeah, you're right about that. You're gonna say, well, yeah, of course I like this, blah, blah, blah. And, you're gonna be disingenuous about it. And I also think, oh, that's kind of annoying. But that's to be expected on social norms. Like,
Right.
that's
But
the whole
I
reason,
mean, at the end of the day, that whole clothing thing was just like a humorous little video. I don't think that really is like has anything to do with the Hassan content nuke. But before we get any further, could you introduce yourself to your chat or to the chat? We have a few people watching.
Uh,
You don't have to give your full name, but like maybe a bit of background, how you started getting
the only
involved in the
reason I want to
show.
give my name is just because 100% you would find my game very briefly on Ethan's.
You sent me some videos you made, right?
Yeah. And like I told you, like I'm fair about stuff, whatever. I criticize him, and I don't give a fuck. Like I'm not gonna be dick riding for him at all. Like like I know he's kind of POS on some things. Like that's kind of it. I mean, it's just everybody kind of is here and there. Um, it doesn't make me like stop watching it.
Right. But could you
Uh,
give like maybe a bit of background about how you got involved in the H3 show, just like watching it as a
all right,
fan
hold
and
on.
even making
Give me
content
like
about it sometimes?
10 seconds so I can give this guy his cell phone so he can not bug me about it. It was in my truck. Give me 1 second.
Oh, you
Give
have
me one
someone
second.
else's cell phone. Okay.
Yeah,
All right,
give me
no
one
problem.
second.
No problem. Take your time. Okay, chat. So what I did today is I was reaching out to a bunch of people in both the Hassan Piker community on Reddit and also the H3 Productions community on Reddit. I was trying to have like some one-on-one conversations with the people, and then like the more I reached out to people, I'm like, hey, this would be fun if we had kind of like a three versus three,
All right.
where it's
Okay.
oh yeah, go on.
That's about it. Yeah. You were saying?
I was just talking to the audience, and I was saying I think it would be fun if we had like a group of Hassan fans and then a group of H3 fans. And not necessarily like H3, because I know you say you're not like a dick rider for him. There's actually I think a lot people are a lot more nuanced in person when they're talking to each other than they are in Reddit posts. I would say, like I think Reddit kind of Reddit rewards people for being extreme. I'll put it that way.
Um, maybe I think I know what you mean. I mean, like Reddit for sure is a lot more leftist
Right, right. But like
right.
when people see
Hmm.
posts that like catch their eye and it's like, oh, look at Hasan, he's such a loser, and then that's gonna get upvoted. Or in the Hasan community, it's gonna be like, look at Ethan Klein, he's crashing out, that's gonna get upvoted. But that's not how people talk to each other in person. So
I guess I see what you're saying. Yes, but I just see more of the I've seen more of the Ethan hate more than the Hassan hate. That's what I've seen.
no,
I don't really
I think
compute
that's fair.
where
Like
that's
there's definitely hate
yeah.
on both sides, but I think that's
And
fair.
like you said, I don't know. I'm assuming you saw me from that post I made. I was like, okay, well,
Yeah.
that one
No, for
person
sure.
said, well, I haven't really watched much of his stuff. I was like, okay, if you haven't really watched much of his stuff, how can you have such a strong opinion as if you have knowledge of it, like you have insight, or like like an informed opinion. That's not an informed opinion. That's an uninformed opinion. That's
Yeah.
fine. But and then just it's just dumb. And as far as I've seen, and I even made a post about it a while back. And I guess that person, whoever I was talking to, not just that person, somebody else. I said, okay, look. He's like, oh well, actions speak, or actions are what matter, not empty. Oh, he has sympathy for the
Yeah,
Palestinian
yeah.
people, whatever, right? And okay, well, what do you want him to do? Like, I keep hearing that. It's like, what do you want him to do? You want him to get on his knees and plead for the war to stop? You want him to call up? Yeah, I can't even say his damn name, but that dude, and
That
like,
dude.
what
Okay.
the hell
Okay,
do
okay.
you guys want? And I don't understand that part. And I didn't get a response on that. Like, what do you actually
I mean, dude, it's
realistically
it's
want?
you're arguing with the comment section that is no matter how right you are or how wrong other people are, if you're arguing in the comment section, you're losing automatically. Like it's
That was
not
just
the
me.
best
I
place for
just said that,
arguing.
well, I didn't get a response. So I'm just saying, even
Right.
Hassan, like, what do they want from Ethan? I've never heard
Well,
the answer. What do you want?
really
What do
quick
they want?
before we get into that, would you
Hmm.
be open to doing kind of like a panel where it's like because you have like I would say like a nuanced perspective. You are at least able to criticize Ethan. That's something that a lot of other people that I've talked to can't do. Um, would you be down to like have like four
Yeah,
or
that's
five
fine. Yeah,
people and then
yeah.
have be talking about it? Because I think that would be fun. And kind of like
And that's fine. And like I said, I'm well, I know because I've watched him
right.
continuously, like just the whole time. And I've obviously never agreed with everything he said, but I've also, I would watching up like, okay, well, I'll still watch it. There's probably like been a few months where I kind of stopped watching it for whatever
Okay.
personal reason,
Yeah.
but that's it.
So how long have you been watching the H3 podcast?
Since the Leafy is here thing.
I have no idea what that is.
See, that's the thing. See, if you don't even know that part where Ethan was being a piece of shit, basically. But if you don't mind, can I curse or not? Like, I
Go
don't
for
even
it,
know.
dude. Go for it. My videos,
So
I
he was
talk about
being,
genocide. They get demonetized left and
everybody
right.
forgets, that I can't remember exactly, but I remember most of it. But someone refreshed me earlier. Where he was being a piece of shit about, he kind of threw, I think it was either Leafy under the bus, this guy, and about like, oh well,
Hold
all you
on.
do is
Keep
like you make,
talking. I gotta take a call.
yeah, go ahead. He threw him under the bus, like all you do is make fun of kids, and you're kind of whatever, just in general, something like that to that effect. After all that, um, I think Leaf who brought it up. He made his own video, which I'm sure it's cataloged. I saw it somewhere on H3 Snark Reddit. Like somebody found it where he's like, "Oh, what are you talking about? Like that's what you do too. Like you talk bad about this kid here or that kid here," and he was going through his videos and like you're no better than me, so you're a hypocrite, etc.
Okay, dude.
And yeah, that's
Okay.
kind of what happened.
That was a good lore dump that I completely missed. But what time, what year was that when you started watching?
I said 2012, but I think I'm wrong. I think
Holy
that
crap.
has to be more like 2015, 2016, 2015, 2016. I think that's what it is.
Okay, okay. So I guess what was your like initial reaction when Ethan did that whole we need to talk about Hasan Piker on his H3 podcast and like that whole thing kind of popped off?
You're saying months ago, or you're
Yeah,
saying
months ago.
recently?
Months, like in
Um,
October.
yeah, it's like, man, who gives a fuck? Like, I don't care anymore. Like, I don't care. Like, I don't care that much. Like, it's like, get over it. Like, like yeah, I get what you're talking about, but goddamn, like a lot of people, if I remember, were kind of also over. Like, oh well, I might be wrong. I might be talking about the Kavanaugh guy, but that's how I felt at least. Like, dude, I keep hearing about you talk about this dude. Like, holy crap. Like, I get it. I don't care enough to hear you about it. Like, I don't
Okay.
care.
Okay.
And that's it.
So like
That's how I felt.
yeah, I think that's kind of like a normal reaction because when I saw the Ethan and or the Ethan's video of Hasan where he's like, we need to talk about Hasan, and then he donates like 90 minutes to talking about Hasan. I'm like,
Oh, I
no,
think you talk about that video. I think you're talking about, yeah. I think I skipped. I was like, oh my god, and I think that's the one I was like, I'm not watching the rest of this crap, and I just literally skipped through the timestamp.
I don't think
Yeah.
you're alone with that. Um, what I was gonna say is like I think that that's a real. I think that Ethan has a personal issues with Hasan, and he's even said on his show like,
Well, I think
yeah,
Hassan
I
reminds him of Moses. I think that's why.
really, and that's his
Yeah.
brother.
No, Moses isEla's brother.
Oh, it'sEla's brother.
Yeah, that's Ela's brother.
Okay, am
So
I
it's
gonna
his
regret
brother-in-law.
asking you about the relationship between Ethan and Moses? If you
Um,
can summarize it in 2 minutes, give it to me.
Basically, they're very real cool, blah blah. Like as cool as you'd be with your
Okay, your
brother-in-law.
brother-in-law.
And then all of a sudden, he just after that falling out with Trisha, apparently behind the scenes, which people kind of thought about but they didn't know, he just they got cut off, and then he was just very snobby and too good to talk to Ela, too good to talk to him. I think he was a narcissistic sociopath who only wanted like fame and fortune to get through Ethan's world to get some kind of fame and see what he could get. And he got Trisha, and then he's married Trisha, had a kid with her. He's in for the long run. I think he's an actual narcissistic sociopath, and he's creepy and weird because I've known people like that, and that's why Ethan doesn't like that guy, and also why he thinks the same thing about Hasan,
Okay,
which I agree myself because that's what I've seen. I've known narcissistic sociopaths. Like I've known them personally.
okay.
Hmm.
So that's interesting. I've not heard that before, but why? And you just think it's because Hassan has narcissism and sociopathic personality traits, and that's why or he just looks like Moses, or why do you think
No,
Hassan?
I think it's because of that, and like he presents that way. He's in it for himself. He's big. He's powerful. He's a commanding kind of person, and stuff like that. When you get what you want so easily, he was like a nepo baby, obviously as well. Apparently, you get what you want, you just become this certain kind of person. And I've known people like that. I've known good people who are that way, and I've known bad people who've taken advantage of it.
Okay, yeah,
And
that's because that just seems like a not necessarily a bad person that like you. I guess like there are negatives associated with it, right? But that just seems so like such a weirdly specific and yet simultaneously vague criticism of Hassan. It's like these certain personality traits that I guess like because Ethan gets along with Hassan. At least he got along with Hassan for years until Israel Palestine came through.
and I yeah, and I didn't. And you're right. And then that one, I forgot when it's the tension started, and I got annoyed too. He's like, oh well, everyone's saying that this show's not gonna last. We're gonna prove him. He said he was gloating, like, oh, me and him we're good friends, etc. etc. I was like, dude, why are you gloating? Like, you're 100%. This is not gonna work out for all you know, and then you're gonna eat crow. And that's literally what happened. I was like, I thought that was absurd. I thought he was posturing way too much for the goddamn camera audience. That was dumb. You shouldn't be doing that. I mean, I'm just a person who's safe like that. I don't make promises like that that I know I'm unsure of the future.
Yeah,
So that's kind of what happened. And
I mean,
yeah, I saw in the content Nuke he was saying, well, I mean, I started wondering of can I trust this guy? Is he duping me? And it's like I think he's being hyperbolic. If he isn't, it's like okay, well, so you're saying that you're willing to overlook that he was a piece of shit, and as long as the show was making money and you're gonna go, like I think that's a bad thing too. I think both parts are bad. So he's
Okay.
not perfect either. That's how I see it.
So can I just like really quickly ask you like about your politics, like just kind of surface level? Like, are you a Democrat, Republican, third party, libertarian, socialist? What would you like? You're in America, right?
Yeah, born here. I'm what you'd call an anchor baby. So,
All right, shout out.
that's how it worked out. So, I'm I've never been much more than I was more Democratic, a Democrat before,
Okay,
and then when after
before
2016, excuse me,
2016. Oh,
yeah,
I was just saying, yeah,
2016, yeah, and then after that, it slowly was like, all right, well, all the when the Democrats took the House or whatever the Senate, whatever you call it. And like, all right, cool. I guess everything will be pretty decent, pretty whatever. That's what I thought.
yeah.
And then everything went fucking down because the people I knew were anti-Trump too.
Mm.
And then slowly everything went to me and went to shit. I think it's very easy for someone like Hasan or whoever, or these people who have money. They think they think a certain way. It's like, dude, when you're fucking broke, you're like, fuck this shit. Like, I don't like that. This isn't working out.
Hmm.
So
I mean, have you ever
slowly,
watched Hasan at all?
I became Republican, huh?
Have you ever watched Hasan at all?
Have I watched his own show?
Well, yeah, like his stream or his YouTube channel or any
I
of the
didn't
people
really know
clipping
who he
him.
was. I saw him here and there until they made the leftovers thing, and I was like, why the fuck would why? To me, it was a whole another like left field choice. I thought that was super super weird. I didn't like it. I never liked his song, not because I had any real reason. It's just like I don't know. I just like okay, I don't really care that much about these politics you're talking about. That's a whole other world for me. So fine, whatever, right? But I never watched him, and I have tried watching him on the whenever to get context about his reactions about whatever happened maybe like a month or two before. For sure, I was watching some of his stuff and clicking whatever long form context someone had clipped out of his whole like it was like an hour clipping out of his own show, and I'm just like, okay, I listened to the whole thing. And I'm like, I don't fucking get it. I don't get why it's just boring. But whatever. I listened to it. Whatever I was listening to, I didn't understand it. It was just kind of dumb.
Okay, dude.
Hmm.
Okay. Uh, so so you're a Republican. You like Ethan Klein. Do you agree with Ethan that the majority of anti-Semitism is coming from the left, or do you think that like guys like Elon Musk who are hailing Hitler, are more anti-Semitic?
Coming from the left. I mean, and the whole anti-Semitism thing is, it's like they're throwing the word around for so long. It don't mean nothing. I don't understand like what the hell it means to be anti-Semitic at all.
Okay,
And I'll tell you right
anti-Jewish.
now, yeah, yeah, yeah. I get it, anti-Jewish. I know, but it's like okay, you can't say. That's why I say the clip about him, the whole Zionist thing. It's like, what are you talking about? But you use that word yourself. It's like, so now you're saying it's kind of a slur or an insult,
Who are you
but
talking
then you
about?
used it before. The
Ethan
I
using Zionism?
Whenever he called Brett, not Brett Kavanaugh, whatever the guy Ryan Kavanaugh, whatever his name is, um, he called him a Zionist,
Okay.
and I was like, dude, but then later on, like a year later or whatever, now you're mad when they call you that, but you used that earlier, and then you're saying, well, it's because I use it. It's like saying the N word with a A. It's like, what are you guys talking about? You guys are making no sense. That word, the Zionist word, doesn't mean anything to me. I think it's so annoying that people keep saying that because it means nothing at this point. To
Okay.
me, you can say that about anything. Hmm.
Okay. Um. All right. What was your reaction of the Content Nuke? Like, you watch the whole thing?
Yeah, I watched the whole thing.
And did you enjoy it? Did it like change your mind at all?
I
Because it
mean,
seems like it didn't.
changed my mind about what?
About anything, because it seems like you didn't really care too much for Hassan, and you weren't really partaking in the drama between Ethan and Hassan in the last few months. So like you don't.
I
I
was
feel like it
partaking to
would.
the fact of like, well, like if you're seeing people talk about it, it's like okay, Hasan he just keeps kind of bullying, kind of being bugging him, whatever, right? I didn't think it was to the extent. Like I said, the nuke made me aware of the extent of what he was talking about. I was like, okay. I watched the thing. I was like, okay, that's
Okay.
pretty bad. Like
So it's just
the
like now
whole
it's concise and it's more dense information, right? Instead of
yeah,
picking up
yeah,
on all of those
like him
things.
playing the propaganda
Yeah, okay.
clip.
That
I
makes
was like,
sense.
why are you doing that? It's not even funny. Even you want to be funny about it, it's not even funny. It's like, dude, that's dumb. And anybody else who would do that, like, you'd probably but you're gonna get banned. Like, so and he's right about that. Like, why are they letting that happen? It's just weird. It's just
Right.
super weird.
Yeah,
It's just weird.
did
Hmm.
you know that actually like after Hasan played that video, Twitch reached out to him and they're like, "Hey, don't do that again. That violates our terms of service."
Hmm. And even knowing that, why reach out to him? Why not just ban him? Give him like a day or two or five. Why give him
Well,
that
like
courtesy?
what would really the difference be?
Well, you're giving him a courtesy call. That's very
Well,
different.
a 1 day ban, that's not going to do
Oh, I
anything.
said one day, but I'm just saying, even anything. But give him a courtesy call
But
about the hey, don't do that again.
it just seems like
I mean,
a
Ethan didn't get a
difference
courtesy
like
call. He didn't get a courtesy call when he made that bomb threat, right?
Ethan made a bomb threat on Twitch.
Whenever he said, somebody bombed the RNC or whatever. I can think it was RNC. He was being stupid or whatever it
Okay.
was. No, no, the gun convention thing. And
Oh,
he got
okay.
banned. He got banned like just like that. They didn't warn him. They didn't tell him, "Hey, don't." Like,
Yeah.
that's it. And he got banned whenever he said the cute joke about Shapiro.
Mhm.
He got
Yeah.
banned. There's another time he got banned. I can't remember the
Yeah.
last time.
You're right.
And it's
And
like,
it's like and Asmongold got like a week off for being anti-Palestinian, but then you look at some other content creators and they get like an entire month off for infractions that are way less than that. So like there's definitely Twitch has an issue with like preferential treatment for bigger streamers, right? But
yeah, but when Hasan's one of their biggest streamers, it's just like that's clearly evident.
right, he's one of their biggest streamers. But obviously, a company is going to like treat their money makers differently than they would like a minor streamer that they don't really care about,
Hmm.
right? And I think
Hmm.
that's true with Ethan too. Like he has a guy at YouTube that's helping him through everything, making sure everything's monetized, stuff like that.
Hmm. No, and I'm sure that's true too. But I mean, you can't like. I mean, that's why he got but see, he has the button. That's the whole reason he has it because he can't rely on that much preferential treatment either. He has to
Right?
literally
Yeah.
censor himself. Hassan doesn't. Apparently, when everything he kept showing was like, well, that's kind of not cool. That's kind of not cool. That's not cool. And apparently, I mean, nothing bad had happened to him. Apparently, as far as I saw, and I mean, that's ridiculous. It's just dumb. It's like, okay, you're kind of putting this person on a pedestal, and who clearly has no problem with terrorist activity. We'll say that.
Mm.
And it's like, why? Like, it's great.
So
Okay, that is okay. I'm just saying, in Hispanic Mexican culture, that is like us celebrating the cartels, which
yeah,
we
yeah.
don't do that. There'll be those stupid like those music videos that people make, and it's more like posturing in our culture. Like
Hmm.
we're saying that, but that's only because we come from from a poor community. It's like, oh yeah, that's kind of like how a certain an African American person would say, oh yeah, you might be a rapper, you might get out of the hood. That's kind of what that is. But why would you, as a Muslim, want? Oh, I want to become a terrorist and be be a terrible person and behead people and do whatever. That's crazy. That's the insanest thing to say. While you live in America as well and support that. If you can do that in another country, just not here. That's weird.
Okay. So can I ask you,
Hmm.
did you vote for Donald Trump in 2024? Or
Yes.
okay, and how are you feeling about that? Because like obviously, Hassan doesn't like Trump, Ethan doesn't like Trump. What made you decide to vote for Trump? And I guess like you have buyer's remorse.
No. I mean, no. Why? What was going to be better with Kamala?
What? Sorry.
What would have been better with Kamala?
Well, I think like some certain things, such as like protecting protected classes, like protecting people's civil rights, making sure that
our civil rights are at the mercy of the government regardless, even if there's no such thing as protecting. I
Like,
know a person with like I know a
eh,
person right now basically being held, having the civil rights. He's an American citizen. He's white, having his civil rights completely violated, regardless of what I've done and made complaints. I called the Department of Justice, the FBI, the Texas Attorney General. Nobody
okay.
gives a fuck. They don't matter.
So you're saying like
They
because of
don't
the
care.
state you're in, the civil rights of the federal government doesn't matter anyway. Like,
Excuse me.
right, you're just saying like because of the state's rights, then kind of civil rights protected by the federal government doesn't matter.
Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
pretty
but
much
like
kind of what how it
still, the
goes.
federal government, enforces the civil rights of the Constitution, and so they need to have civil rights protections in there that Donald Trump got rid of. You can also talk about the whole tariffs thing and how that's going to
Are you talking
increase
about the immigrants,
prices.
by the way? When you say civil rights, you're talking about the immigrants or some other people?
Just anyone, basically.
I have to know exactly what you're speaking of because that's a very broad thing you're saying. Civil
Right,
rights.
right.
It can mean a lot of things, of
I
course.
mean, but because you've heard like Trump getting rid of DI, right?
Yeah. So what? I mean, you shouldn't hire a person specifically because you think that you should because they have some exclusive kind of trait that should be. I mean, there should be anti-discrimination laws, of course, but not, "Hey, I'm gonna prefer to hire this person over someone else because they have a disability
Yeah,
or
and
they have something different."
I don't think
Mhm.
like DEI is necessarily I'm going to hire this person over someone else. It's more about uh, making sure, like, kind of giving the federal government a oversight, uh, like basically allowing the federal government to have oversight over hiring practices and making sure that people like are aware of discriminatory hiring. And the way I heard it explained is like DEI is not in the Constitution. However, what is in the Constitution is protecting people from discriminatory hiring practices. And DEI is
Mhm.
a tool used to protect people from those discriminatory hiring
Well,
practices.
it depends on the language you're speaking of. I'd have to see the actual law, the language of it, and which is very important because I've had to read the language of things. Like, there's some things that are not directly, um, uh, versed correctly, and it's like, say, some court case called
No, yeah,
Morrissey v. Brewer. It's like, like, even that, like, it's still a little bit up to interpretation, which is kind of what's terrible. So you're right, except it depends if it's that specific. If it's not that specific, you can't blame a person and be like, "Look, it's not specific enough. It's not good," because it kind of lets other people take advantage of and basically discriminate the other way against hiring somebody else. So it goes both ways. It's a double-edged sword.
yeah. And I don't think it's like discriminating against other people. I think it's making sure that there is no discrimination. But the issue is if you're getting rid of DEI and you're not replacing it with something else to actually protect against discriminatory hiring practices, then you do have an issue. So anyway, there's that. There's also the fact that like Trump is threatening war with different people, classifying the cartels as a terrorist
Uh,
organization
you're
to.
talking about Panama, right? Panama and what about the cartel part? Tell me about the cartel part.
So Donald Trump is not only classifying the cartels as a terrorist organization, basically allowing the United States to send in forces to try to eliminate them, which would effectively be an invasion of Mexico. But then he has also classified the immigration crisis at the southern border, as he terms it, as an invasion, also allowing him to activate the military to kind of beef up the border along the southern border with Mexico.
Okay, and what do you? So when you're saying invasion, you're saying that they're going to want to take parts of Mexico. What do you mean by that?
Well, just boots on the ground in Mexico, basically carrying out military operations in
Yeah,
Mexico,
and the
which,
Mexican people would love that. So what's the problem?
well, the problem is not it's the Mexican government. They don't want the United States to have soldiers carrying out operations
Or if they don't,
without
if they
like the
don't want
leave.
that, it's because they're probably they're being paid off by the cartels. And I know this effectively because my father lives there, and I know all about the deep seated corruption in Mexico. And to be honest, I don't think that's. I mean, you're saying that's gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen unless something extraordinary does happen, but it's just not because the U.S. benefits by the cartels being there because that's what drives the prices so low over there. That's why, like, my father can't even raise chickens without paying a cartel
Yeah.
off, and because of that, he can't. They're effectively like taxing every single human being, and because of that, you want a cushy job being an Amazon, not even that cushy, but Amazon person. Say they have Amazon there,
Mm.
you could go. You're gonna get paid dog shit, whatever. And you know what? The U.S. loves that because
So
the
the
U.S.
cartel
will
keeps the
benefit off of
wages
that.
down, basically.
Basically, the cartels control the wages and keep it down for
Right.
uh,
But you do have to think
the
like
U.S.
I don't think Donald Trump's going to care about that, and Donald Trump has already said he's going to effectively enact tariffs on two of our biggest trading partners, Canada and Mexico,
Hmm.
which will drive up prices. So I don't think Trump really cares about that. And I think Trump has like three main goals as president. I think that he really cares a lot about beefing up his oligarchy buddies. So like Elon Musk, his net worth has almost doubled since Donald Trump became got into office. Just simply because people are thinking now that Elon Musk is kind of has the ear of the president. Donald Trump's going
Hmm.
to be very amenable to asks that Elon Musk has to make Tesla better. So, like those
Hmm.
whole H-1B visa things, where if you have the ear of the president, maybe you can hire cheaper labor from foreign countries rather than paying American citizens a wage that American citizens would demand they get paid.
Hmm.
Does that make sense? So, like empowering
Yeah,
his.
yeah.
So, I think Donald Trump has like three main goals: empowering his oligarchy, empowering his base, and I do think his base is white supremacist. I do think that his base has a white supremacist, like a very strong white supremacist group within his base. And then his third goal, I think, is empowering himself. And we can see him empowering himself through passing laws that are blatantly illegal and trying to override Congress's authority on things. So effectively, like activating the military to beef up the southern border with Mexico by classifying that as an invasion. Usually, you would need Congress to use the military. Um,
Hmm.
Also, just like doing things that are blatantly illegal,
Well,
like
well,
firing.
you said the I'm sorry, the birthright citizenship. I mean, he's just posturing. He knows it's never gonna pass. By the way,
Right,
that's
but
him. It's yeah. Hmm.
when you do something like the birthright citizenship, which is getting rid of the amendment, you're going to need Congress to do that to get rid
Hmm.
of a constitutional amendment. You are sucking in resources, making people fight against you. And it's also like, oh, here's a line. I'm just going to put my foot over the line. You might yell at me, but that's fine. I'm just going to like start getting used to that. There was also the whole thing where he fired like all of the inspectors general without that
Hmm.
30-day notice, and it's like little laws here and there, but it's just Donald Trump like pushing his bounds. So I think he really is trying to get as powerful as possible in the presidency.
I mean, that may be so, but like, what else could have been better if we kept come on? Like, yeah, like you haven't said what would have been. I mean, you said a little bit would have been better. The
Right.
AI thing,
Well,
whatever.
I think
Those are the kind
that
of things that matter right now. Huh.
the more powerful the president is, the less powerful the people are, the less power that a voter has. Because if you think about it, you are able to vote for your congressman, you're able to vote for senator, and you're also able to vote for states. And usually the states have sway in the federal government. But now we're seeing Donald Trump basically like conditioning aid to states. He's like, okay, well, you have DEI in California, or your forest management is so bad. I'm not going to give you money for your wildfires until you get rid of DEI or until you empty out lakes that have endangered fish in them just because I want to like flex my power. That's actually taking away voting power from the people living in California. And also, when Congress gets less powerful, that's also taking away voting power. Because if you think about it, it's like you no longer have the same access to government. Like I can call up my senator right now. I can call up my representative in Congress. I can't call up the president. I can at least yell at these people to make them feel bad, and that is me like exercising my rights as a voter and my voice as an American citizen. I don't have that same level of access to the president, especially when
Hmm.
the president is getting propped up by these billionaire oligarchs that are donating billions of dollars to his campaign. Maybe
Hmm.
not billions, but millions of dollars to his campaign, and effectively like running these social media sites, which also reduces democracy because when you
Well,
have a
let
social
me
media.
ask you this.
Okay, go
Let me
ahead.
ask you this. How often have you had to deal with your lower form of government, your city, the your city council, or your municipality, justice of the peace, district attorney? How often have you had to do that in your life?
In my life, in terms of having to do it, I haven't
Yeah, you
had to do
go,
it,
you
but
show
I
up.
have chosen to do it. I have chosen to get involved in local politics.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm
Mostly
saying, but
recently.
you're saying as if, oh, I can call my state representative. Who fuck? So what? Like they don't do shit. They don't give a fuck. I've done everything above and beyond
Hmm.
through every up to the federal government almost. I mean, I've literally had to fight with this person about up who's already gone almost to the Supreme Court where they have completely turned down even hearing about this person. And I mean, this person is a utter criminal, literal, not literal. They just call him a murderer because of what he's done. And every single system of government has failed them. The whole government has always been corrupt. It's just that people now see it with Donald Trump. But that's the same game
No, you're
with
right.
Biden.
You're actually right. I
It's the
agree
same
with you
game.
100%. I think that
Hmm.
um like we've always had these billionaires donating millions of dollars to politicians. It's like the line that that one um I'm forgetting who it was, but it's like this one political analyst guy talking to Tucker Carlson, and he's like, "You're a millionaire funded by billionaires," and that's who our politicians are as well. But
Hmm.
it's like it's funny to me that you're like, yeah, Donald Trump is just people are seeing it more underneath Donald Trump. It's like, yes, that's true because he's doing it to a level that we've never seen before. Like
Yeah.
the amount of wealth disparity, the wealth inequality in this country is like a higher level of wealth inequality than has ever existed in the world. Like
Hmm.
basically, like Apple is worth more than the entire economy of the UK. It's like
Hmm.
that is a lot of power. And um like I know you're like, yeah, Biden's corrupt. All of these politicians are corrupt because they get donations from these corporations. But we do have like there is a difference where Biden did make it easier for people to form unions. He did have a he did Biden's government was more willing to attack monopolies and try to break up monopolies. Monopolies mean more like breaking up monopolies means more competition, which means more opportunity for economic advancement for people in a capitalist society. Like, oh, now I can start a business because Google doesn't have a stranglehold on everything and they're going to like break it up
Hmm.
or Meta. So, like, I understand what you're talking about. And I think you have a fairly like good perspective on the government in terms of you are very critical of the government, which I like to see. I think that being critical of the government is like the first or it's a necessary step, I would say.
Hmm.
um
Exactly.
yeah.
And but you're saying critical, but then people like say the leftists or whatever, liberal, whatever you call them, but they'll get, oh well, you don't need to have an AR-15. It's like that's literally part of being critical of the government. I don't trust them. That's why I'll have my right to bear arms to have a fully loaded AR-15. I have a 60 round mag at all times in my bedroom, and
All
you're gonna
right,
tell me
man.
that I'm crazy for that? Like
Well,
it's just like like it goes both. Hmm.
remind me of that if I'm ever gonna sleep over, okay?
Yeah, well, yeah, maybe, but, you cut off a little bit, to be honest.
Oh, sorry
So,
about that.
it's alright. It might be my phone, but yeah, it's just like, I agree with some people's concerns, whatever, these leftist people, I mean, but,
Yeah.
the whole internet, it feels to me like most of the internet is left. Like, right people do not even bother, for the most part, getting
Hmm.
on there very often, and that's how I feel, because I've seen some ridiculous takes. I mean, I can't even I mean, I already deleted that one. I literally had to make another account for this because I already knew I was in it. Like, I mean, I made
Okay.
very very succinct points
Yeah.
about the debate on abortion,
Hmm.
and every single time I seemed to win, I would get banned. Like I would never actually get a conclusion other than getting banned. And
Yeah.
it's just like, and my simple thing I'd say is like, look, if you wouldn't put down your pet, puppy, dog, whatever, but you're willing
Was I
to
being manipulated?
abort your fetus, do you really think you're doing something good? And every time I said that to a woman, I get banned.
Oh. Okay.
And and I mean, to me, that's a very clear, very
Yeah. Yeah.
a thing to say. I mean, what do you call that word? Analogy, whatever. It's like, yeah,
Obvious.
you
Oh,
wouldn't do
comparison.
that.
Yeah.
hmm Like,
Well,
like,
I
so you're
mean,
saying,
this is a whole nother topic, but
I know it isn't the topic. I'm just saying, but that's why I can't talk about some of this stuff with the Hasan, the Ethan stuff or her song stuff, Palestine, whatever. As soon as
yeah.
you make any good point, people just get mad and be like, I don't care. I just know what I've heard and whatever, and they just don't. You will not change their minds. You cannot
Well,
change the mind of a person who hasn't rationally
yeah.
had their mind made up, anyways. hmm
All right, man. Well, I think we got a little bit off track, but it was good calling. It was good talking to you because earlier today I talked to a leftist fan of Ethan, and now I'm talking to you. And like, I don't know if you'd consider yourself a Republican, but you voted for Trump, and so like we're getting uh, a good spectrum of people that we're
And,
talking to.
and I'm a fan of his show. Like, I'm not a fan of what he
Oh,
has
okay.
said
Yeah.
or done sometimes, because I mostly like the guys, and he's obviously entertaining, whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm a fan of his show a lot, but I'm not gonna be like, oh, I'm not gonna pretend he's never done anything wrong. That's ridiculous. I'm
Yeah.
sure he has, of course, and like I'm showing you videos of it,
Yeah. I'm
and
gonna
it's so
check out those
Hassan.
videos too. I think I'm gonna watch
I
those.
mean, but look him up. I mean, it's very true. He shouldn't be saying those things. And like, dude, like, and I kind of get it. You kind of forget you might say something, and but it's like one of them, the one about his parents. That's like the worst one. I was like, come on, dude, like, don't do that.
Yeah.
Just don't say that. Just shut up. Like even your father was like, shut the fuck. Just shut up. Just move on. And that's ridiculous. Like, dude, you can't say that and then expect nobody to clown on you for that. And like this is dumb. It's just weird. It's like, come on. So I would never do that. I would never even ask my mother that. That's weird. That's
Yeah.
not even cool to do. Not even on a podcast. Come on. So as
Yeah.
much as I know, it's like I'm
Mm-hmm.
very critical of everybody, not just I'm a fan of the show. Do not be
Okay.
critical because you're supposed to be critical of people that you like, and that way you're not in an echo chamber,
Yeah.
and they just become. But
Uh,
that's kind of what I feel like a song is. He's in that. I mean, I'm sure anything is a little bit himself. Only recently have they
I
kind of
mean,
lightened up
yeah,
on the
you
banning
got to be kind of nutty to like spend your entire life on stream, right?
on stream.
Well, like on the internet. I
I mean, a
think.
little bit it becomes part of your
Okay.
life. But I'm saying, like, they would ban people just for criticizing him on his, Reddit, and only
Oh
recently
yeah.
only I forgot what was the big thing that happened. He did something really stupid, I forgot what it was, but it was, like, maybe a month and a half ago or 2. Then it kinda let up on banging people, which is super
Okay.
weird. I was like, "Okay, that's" I forgot what it was. It was something it might have been this? I don't think
Hmm.
so. It was something else. I
Okay.
can't remember what it was.
Okay.
But, yeah, that's basically that's what
All
I gotta say here.
all right, man. Well, thanks for talking. I'll keep in touch, and I'm gonna try to set up that like panel because I think that would be fun, and I think you'd be a fun addition on that panel.
Yeah, like you said, you got 2 people, whatever. I guess you gotta have another 4 to make it
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. We'll see. All right, man. Thanks so much for showing up, and I'll talk to you later.
Alright, you have a good one.
All
Alright,
right.
thank you.
See ya. Okay. Okay. Ooh. All right, guys. I'm gonna post my first conversation that I had today, or that I had earlier today. I'm gonna post that one. That was this one that I had. This one that I just had. That took a wild turn. Uh, that was fun. Okay. I should have ended it like 10 minutes earlier. Yeah, man. I don't know what's happening. I really don't know what's happening. But how is a guy like that a fan of the H? Okay. All right. Okay. I'm just gonna play this. I'm just gonna play this. Oh, old timey things. You want to call in? Okay, listen. You can anyone that wants to call in. I don't know if I'm gonna regret doing this, but you can add me on Discord, and it's just uninformed leftist, one word, no spaces. Okay, so he does have an AR-15 in his bedroom at all times. He's not 12 years old. He's voted since 2016. He is not a 12-year-old kid, okay? Respect your elders. No, that was we're really running the gambit on or running the gamut on H3 fans today. Okay, Jesus Christ. Oh no, should I not have done this? Should I not have whatever, I'm playing this. You guys can add me if you want.
This whole time? There is a bust up scared.
Wait a second, chat. The content nuke was an hour 42 minutes. This is only an hour 7 minutes. Did Hasan not watch the content nuke? What is happening? Okay, so what I'm asking people to call in for is I think that. Well, I wanted to talk with fans of the H3 podcast to actually address their criticisms, because when we go over the Ethan Klein video, it's so long, it's so rambly, it is just convoluted, and it's hard to get a specific criticism for Hasan that we can address. So I wanted to talk to real people about that. Then I also started reaching out to people in the Hasan's Reddit and asking them if they wanted to come on and do kind of like a Jubilee style, like 3v3 or 2v2 or 2v3. So yeah, maybe I think that would be fun. But we'll see. Okay, so this is going to be my Sunday fun stream, and then we have serious politics because the world is a depressing place. We've got concentration camps going up, tariffs being passed, Panama being invaded. It's just brutal.
Scarier thing.
Thing is, there's something kind of scary brewing in America. Communism.
So yeah, I want people to think I'm Tim Pool instead, which is the furthest you can be from communism, because that's significantly scarier than Donald Trump. I want everybody to understand, make no mistake, I'm a serious person who definitely understands things. Very smart, very intelligent. Definitely not a hack-ass comedian.
Okay, you know what? Before we go through this, I want to talk about the H3 subreddit right now, just because I think this is a good indication of where the fans are at mentally, like post nuke. Oh my god, do I need to stream on Twitch? The love Ethan's energy call out. So since the nuke, Ethan has called out Ludwig. Sad and pathetic how Hasan mocks H3, mocks Ethan for being 50 with 3 kids. You're both in your 30s. Acting like a frat boy at 33 doesn't make you younger. So just once again, like a criticism of Hasan. These are just like the weakest criticisms that you could possibly levy at someone. Oh, you were hyperbolic about someone's age. You're saying that he's like 50 with 3 kids, and that is going to be enough to like piss these people off. Memes about Ludwig, because I guess Ludwig reacted to it. Jeff is Team Ethan, don't know what that is. Oh yeah, Anna Kasparian. Like, what the fuck is going on with her? Do people not realize she's been fucking freaking out for a while now? XQC's commentary. Okay, not interested in that. Hasan has never been Ethan's friend. Isn't Ethan doing this because Hasan refused to talk to him in the first place? No, not really. This is just what Ethan does. He's not crying because you owned him. Oh yeah, and then people are really mad because Hasan called him a little crying baby or something like that.
You cried like a bitch.
I think peace and progress happens when we connect and have empathy for each other. That's it. I'm explaining to you why Jews around the world might find that offensive, and and that's it. I think that it would be good to try to understand.
Okay, I'm not going to rehash this because honestly, if anyone's trying to use this video as an example of Ethan Klein being like compassionate and being intelligent and open to criticism and communicating with Hasan, then they did not understand what they were watching. So that's kind of the main thing. It's like, oh yeah, I love Ethan for being spiteful against Ludwig. I hate Hasan for exaggerating, saying that Ethan cried like a bitch and that he's 50 years old. Who gives a fuck if he's 50 years old?
In air quotes, still doing 2014 memes on the timeline. Well, I'm not on the timeline anymore. I'm actually too scared to be on the timeline, so I just constantly whine about it from behind my Instagram stories, even though I'm a 50-year-old dude with like 3 children, and I spend most of my time online just crying most of it. What is this? What? Bro, I have not seen a single one of his Instagram stories. I didn't know he was posting about me this much. Oh my God. This might genuinely be one of the funniest things I've ever seen from him. How is this not satire? I'm really stupid. Can you educate me a little on Marxism? I don't know what it is for real. Part 3. Oh.
All right. I think I'm just going to like skip through this clip. And what is this? When Ethan was criticizing his friend. Does she have something to say about this?
They're going to clip this and misrepresent the tiredness and depressed in the content Chernobyl disaster. Yeah, well, good luck to them. It's 5 a.m. out here. As always, I'm live and alive. Let's take a look at this video.
Yes, they are the big dogs. Wow, thank you.
Shout out to Wine About It.
Oh, you like Wine About It?
Yeah, shout out to Comrade Hasan.
Okay, wow.
Damn, dude, another young boy radicalized in his prime.
Yeah, so this is what I'm going to do. I kind of wanted to get the gist of what Hasan was doing. It doesn't even look like he's really reacting to the Content Nuke video. Now, I'm going to let you guys watch this video yourself because I don't think it's that interesting. But it is kind of worth talking about the Content Nuke and then the fallout of that. So I had a conversation with someone that was not crazy. Okay, hopefully we're far enough into the stream where my friend that I was talking with earlier isn't going to see that. But I was talking with someone who considers himself a leftist, and we were talking about Hasan, and Hasan should be criticized because he promotes like terror propaganda. He watched a music video made by the Houthis. He played like a live stream of Houthis landing on a ship and then taking it over. He said that he doesn't have an issue with Hezbollah in the context of resisting against Israel. And so Ethan Klein is spreading misinformation because he's obviously trying to make Hasan look like he's in love with all of these radical resistance groups. And obviously, like, Hasan has multiple criticisms for them. It's not just that he's like consistently glazing them and saying that they're amazing and God's gift to humanity. Oh, fucking hell. 7 people added me? Okay. Well, maybe we'll talk with someone after this rant. But yeah, like Hasan is pretty consistently critical of them. He always contextualizes them and says like the violence they're doing is bad, but it can be explained by these reasons. And if we want to reduce the violence, it's not enough to just bomb the hell out of Yemen to try to stop the Houthis. We actually need to deal with like the underlying systemic issues of why this group is so violent or so radical, and then also deal with the violence that they are causing. Like, if we want to stop their violence, we need to understand where that's coming from, basically. So that's kind of what he's talking about. But then people like Ethan Klein are trying to make Hasan look like he's so radical, and obviously Ethan Klein's trying to make him look like that because it's not really for any political reason, right? Ethan Klein started off with his conclusion that he wants to cancel Hasan, and you can see he was mad with Hasan in that one conversation where he started crying and he walked away. Ethan was clearly mad at Hasan because of that, and then he's like brewed on it for almost a year, and then he started like attacking Hasan and trying to get him canceled. He at first tried to get him canceled off of Twitch. Now he's trying to get Hasan canceled in like public life in general. Okay, so that's what Ethan's doing, and I do think that it's like spreading misinformation, not only about Hasan, but about leftists in general. If you're saying that the majority of anti-Semitism comes from the left, and Ethan literally says that in the Content Nuke, and I'm gonna post my conversation with a leftist H3 fan because I think that conversation is really good. I'm gonna post that tomorrow, so tomorrow morning you guys can watch that. Okay. So if you're saying that the majority of anti-Semitism comes from the left, first of all, you are conflating criticism of Israel with anti-Semitism. And second of all, you are doing a disservice to people that are experiencing real anti-Semitism coming from conservative forces on the right. Once again, when you have the shadow president in Elon Musk sig hailing at the inauguration, and then he goes on to make Holocaust jokes, and he is quite literally, I mean, his grandparents were Nazis. He believes in like anti-Semitic conspiracy theories. What you have there is anti-Semitism coming from the most powerful place in the country from a conservative perspective. And when people are calling that out, let's just play this really quick. H3 podcast. When you have people calling that out, and then Ethan is not readily going to criticize the anti-Semitism coming from the right, then you have issues where people think that like being pro-Palestinian is actually anti-Semitic, or calling for a one-state solution is actually anti-Semitic. So I think this is interesting here.
What's with this laggy ass shit?
I don't know, is your laptop taking a shit?
Let me turn the quality down.
Good.
My heart goes out to you.
My heart goes out to you.
Here he kind of, my heart goes out to you.
That's
Covers
him
his
catching
bases
himself.
a little bit.
Yeah.
I think that if this were planned, which I assume he knew what he was doing before he went on the stage, I don't think it was like a passionate. I mean, I think he was passionate about it, but I don't think it was an in the moment decision.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that he was like, I'm gonna say I'm giving my heart out to you? Like, that's such a crazy cover.
Biting his mouth too. I feel like he was really emphasizing.
Yeah.
Like,
There's emotion
behind
behind
whatever he was doing.
The way he slams on his
There was
chest
a lot
is
of
like
emotion
violent.
behind it, yeah. And you can hear him even like
It's like, okay, if you are like taking a principled stance against kind of Nazism, we do not need to do body language analysis of Elon Musk giving the sig hail. He's a right-wing meme lord. He exists in the spaces where right-wingers will do their little dog whistles and laugh about it and giggle about it. He knows what he's doing, and he's doing it to meme. He literally memes afterwards. So the crew here is trying to move past this body language analysis and be like, you know, he did a Nazi salute. He is like his grandparents were Nazis. He's pro-Nazi in terms of the policies that he's pushing for. And he has given support for anti-Semitic conspiracy theories openly and publicly. Why are we focusing on this? Ethan Klein can't really seem to get past that. And this is the issue. When you have fascists in charge and the liberals they're like fixated on the performative aspects of fascism and not really able to understand the underlying reasons of why fascism is the way it is and the dangers that fascism poses, you get situations like this where Ethan Klein is hung up on the hand gesture and he's like, is this actually a sig hail, or was he like, you know, his lips were pursed, doesn't that mean he really means it? Oh wait, he's rubbing his chest in this one. So like, you know, he's and then he's like, yeah, okay, yeah, it's a Nazi salute. And yet you're spending all of your time focusing on the body language here.
The elections, they come and go. Some elections are, you know, important, some are not. But this one, such an idiot. This one really matters. And I just want to say thank you for making it happen. Thank you.
He did that. He goes,
Really felt
This is what he did. He hit his heart hard.
Uh-huh.
It's a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, that's what he did.
The problem is that it really shows how insane like some of the political discourse is. You cannot say to a single person, that they're being uncharitable, that they're being crazy, that they're being unfair. You are asking people to not believe their own fucking eyes. You are gaslighting people. You cannot be serious and tell me that you need to argue from the place of like, yes, I agree it was a Nazi salute. I think it was an accident, and here's why. You can't be arguing from anywhere else.
He could have said at any point, hey, that wasn't my intention. Sorry it came across that way.
Yeah, he never actually even apologized.
Not at all. In fact, he made Holocaust jokes as a response.
On our Reddit.
By the way, the ADL turned on him once he started joking about it.
Dumbasses. Like, to run D for that. I mean, the whole thing is absurd. Elon Musk is a fascist not because he did the salute. He's a fascist for the things that he believes. He's a fascist because he is one. And why are we offering any charitability at all to the salute? Of course, that's what it is. And even if it was a mistake, it doesn't change anything. Like,
yeah. So this is why I wanted to play this clip, because Dan, who, you know, at least he says he's a socialist, he's actually doing proper analysis. It's like, at the end of the day, the salute doesn't matter. Elon Musk is a fascist in his policies, his beliefs, and his actions, and also his words. Okay, so it's like, this is good analysis from Dan. Ethan would be like, you know, you're asking people to not believe it. That's like, that is a Nazi salute. And then that would be kind of the end of the end of the day, because he doesn't have a good basis in challenging fascism. He does not have like a good base to challenge fascism there. So that's kind of what we're talking about. And then when he does spend the majority of his time like talking about Hasan, even like this Markiplier drama, this is like still kind of tangentially Hasan related. Like, I know that it's not as drama-y to talk about Elon Musk's Nazi salute as it is to talk about Hasan and how fucked up Hasan's community is and how they're spreading anti-Semitism, because he knows he can get more views on Hasan. He's already maxed out his audience on people that dislike Elon Musk. He's not going to be like, oh, a new Elon Musk controversy, I'm going to go see what Ethan Klein has to say about it. So that's my point. It's like, if Ethan's going to maintain this drama sphere of his show, like exist on the level where you are just drama farming, which is what the H3 show is. They're drama farmers. That's fine. But when you're going to talk about actual politics, then you need to hold yourself to a higher standard. You're going to need to think about the effective rhetoric that's coming out of your show. And if 90% of your show's runtime, when you're referring it to anti-Semitism, is talking about Hasan or Frogan or Twitch, and then you have like 10% of it talking about Elon Musk or Theo Vaughn or Joe Rogan being anti-Semitic, you are doing a disservice to your fans. And you're essentially like equating the far left with the far right. And that's just giving a skewed perspective to the H3 fan base. All right, let's see. I'm going to accept the first person that added me and see what they have to say. Okay, so we'll see if guys, thanks for adding. I definitely appreciate the willingness to talk. I just don't have that much time today, so I'm going to talk with one person, the one who added me first, and then I'm going to hang up the stream. But I really appreciate you guys for watching. Sunday streams are going to be something that I want to do more of. Also just streaming more in general. But yeah, the content nuke was interesting. Oh yeah, one more thing that I wanted to talk about. Okay, so listen, I've been in contact. Well, hold on, let me see if oh. All right, I'm gonna chat with a few minutes with this person. They seem pretty chill, and then we will wrap up the stream with a few odds and ends. Also, I might like actually try to work to do a call-in section just because that's fun. And I do want to I do want to do like that panel show too that I was talking about. And we'll see if that's just like a total mess or something. But anyway, Yeah, a lot of people have been talking about like how the Content Nuke is being received so well. Let's just check it out. Content Nuke Hasan. And I have heard that they are I've heard that they're deleting like negative comments, so obviously the comments aren't going to give us an accurate depiction of people's perspectives on the matter. But I just think that it's really interesting. Also, the conversations that I've had with people off air about this have been staggering. Yeah, Ethan Klein has lost a lot of subs from both channels. But talking to someone who has enjoyed the Content Nuke has been very strange. It's like let me read you a conversation that I've had. Okay, I won't actually read it because that's boring. But it's essentially like, oh, what issues did I have with the Content Nuke? And then I write out, I have a lot of issues, but here's one in specific. And then they start arguing with that specific one. Once it's proven wrong, they're like, well, that wasn't the point of the video. That was just one point. It's just, I really think that people in the H3 audience are a dying breed. All right, let me just wrap up this. I really think that people in the H3 audience realize that their community is being criticized and there is valid criticism against it. And so whenever they see criticism that they think they can get over on the person making the criticism, like Mika from Mika's Rhetoric, like Aubrey Smalls, like that one girl that was like making TikTok videos and then Ethan Klein put her on blast, they just rapidly attack that person and then they try to deal with that person. All right, let me call in here. Hey, how's it going?
Good. Hey, how are you?
Good. Thanks for volunteering to call in. I'm gonna try to like make myself available more for people to interact with me. I probably should like start my own Discord so that I don't have to just have random DMs with people all the time. So what made you want to call in? Is it just like because of the prospect of doing kind of that panel show that I was talking about, or did you have something specific you wanted to bring up to me right now?
No, nothing specific. It was the panel thing that caught my ear when I was listening.
Okay, that's cool. Have you had like any interactions with H3 fans in the past?
Have I?
Yeah.
Well, I am a former H3 fan. I used to be a big fan. And
okay.
like met some friends through H3.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but no longer a fan. I haven't listened since before it was like the capitalist versus socialism debate that I was out after that.
Oh yeah, on the leftovers thing where Ethan was kind of like being resistant to the idea of socialism.
Yes, it started on H3 and then it carried over to leftovers.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Because yeah, Ethan does have an issue with that. And so, are you said you're a fan of Hasan? Did you get into that through the H3 show?
I did, not through the leftovers though. It was when Hasan was a guest on the show, which was quite a while before leftovers started. And then I became a Hasan fan right after that.
Yeah, when I first saw Hasan, I'm like, who is this guy? Like, I don't know, he looks weird. And then I watched him, and honestly, it was like the Jordan Peterson content that he did, which I'm like, this is actually really funny stuff, and no one else was like treating it with such a humorous affect. So that kind of like I need more stuff like that.
Yeah, and then he had the whole what was that? MasterChef. That was fun. More than just politics.
Yeah. So, have you had any conversations with like H3 fans since this whole drama started? I'm just wondering, like, if you've come across any kind of criticism against Hasan, or maybe like criticism of Israel Palestine, and how have you dealt with that?
big comment reader and Reddit post reader.
Okay.
So I wouldn't say that I had interactions with H3 fans, but I've read some of the stuff that their opinions that they've posted, and I was looking today for some background, something to play in the background. So I searched up Ethan Klein to see if there was any reactions to his nuke, and I clicked on some channel that was live, and it was they were H3 fans. And
Oh, really? What was the channel name? I'll have to check them out.
It was something and Stitch, I think. It was two names.
Oh.
I can
Something in Sitch, maybe? I think I've heard of it.
Yeah, I watched it for like 10 minutes. It was hard to take. But they
Adam
were
and
saying
Sitch?
that sounds right.
Okay. I'll have to check them out. Okay, yeah, go ahead. What were they saying?
They didn't say much about Israel and Palestine, but they
they're
were
live right now.
Oh, geez. They were very not into politics, and they were like, yeah, you can really tell Ethan really knows what he's talking about, but they clearly
You could tell Ethan knows what he's talking about. That's funny. Yeah, honestly, I need to do more research into not only the Uyghur stuff in China and Tibet, but also just the history of Israel and Palestine, because I know that Ethan is misrepresenting the history in that Content Nuke section that he was, when he's like, well, even though Israel committed a genocide by ethnically displacing all of the Palestinians in the Nakba, did you know that even more Jews were ethnically displaced from other Middle Eastern countries in the region? And it's like, okay, the whole idea of Zionism is to ethnically displace Jews so that they have an ethnic supermajority in any designated place, and it just so happened that it was Israel. Have you? I don't know, where obviously you're against genocide. Have you had a strong feeling of this since October 7th, or before October 7th, or kind of what's your relationship on that specific issue?
To be honest, it was October 7th that really got me looking into it. I knew there was a conflict, and I've always heard it was complicated, and I never really looked into it more. But yeah, I've learned a lot from Hasan and just my own research. And speaking of that, that thing Ethan brought up, apparently that AP article that he said didn't exist, I saw somebody found it with
I found it on my stream. I looked it up in 2 minutes, and literally it's a Hasan video, and it's talking about the Chinese Uyghurs. And at the very beginning of the video, Hasan pulls up the article, and then he says that, yes, I think that cultural genocide is happening on the Uyghurs in China. And that's something that I've been calling out as misinformation. I might clip that out of my live stream, but yeah, Ethan really has no problem with lying. And I think that that's because he is doing all of this to try to achieve the end of getting Hasan canceled. He wants Hasan to get canceled, and he's willing to do kind of anything to get him actually canceled.
Wonder, in his ideal world, if Hasan got canceled and deplatformed, would he just celebrate? And
I think he would feel like it's a personal victory. I don't know what your feelings are of Vosh, but recently Ethan did a quick little segment on Vosh, and he was so mad that Vosh is still streaming, and he actually has more subscribers than he did before Ethan Klein did the Content Nuke on it.
Oh, jeez.
All right, okay. Let's take a break and listen to this Adam and Sitch stream.
Jose, I can never say it. Josue.
This was not a recommendation by me.
For 19
you were the one that turned me on to it.
Never say his name right.
I know.
Last time I asked for good mojo before an interview, it went great. Now I have a final round this week, so any more S class.
Were you on PF Jung's channel?
Okay.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. You seem like an uninformed leftist.
Everybody, I want you to Put your hands
Me?
together, raise them.
Oh
in the
no, I'm
sky.
reading
Okay,
chat.
we're gonna give a blast of spirit bomb free will.
Do you mind if I let you go
So he
for a bit?
nails, he annihilates.
No, that's fine.
Okay,
That
thanks
final
for coming
round
on.
interview, he gets
Yeah,
the
sure.
dream job. I don't know what this job is, but I'm gonna assume it's the dream job of a lifetime. Okay,
Right.
you're gonna get a 6-figure salary coming your way from this amazing job, whatever this job is. It's so incredible. We're all gonna just put our hands up in the air and we're gonna throw the free will spirit bomb of success.
Yes. I'm throwing my
way.
heart out to you right now.
That's
as hard
right.
as I can.
Wait a minute! Stop! No, don't bring your heart back.
Oh yeah,
Adam.
this guy's
No,
talking.
Bring your heart back to your chest. What are you doing?
I'm throwing it out in spirit, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, I hope you do good, obviously. Having a good job is great.
They have 10,000. They have 10 times the amount of subscribers that I
My
have.
doctor's there for 34 months. Thanks so much. Says I've waited so long. Yeah, I mean, and Ethan delivered.
For this
He did-
content nuke.
If you told me that Ethan was making some long expose on Hasan, I've been like, oh, whatever. I'm sure it's all just things I've seen before, right? I would not have expected to be such a thorough, persuasively soul-destroying experience of Hasan.
Bro, that was a soul-destroying experience that this man had.
So,
yes.
Hasan?
He was literally just Ethan being like Red Scare propaganda, saying that Frogan is racist, and then like complaining that Hasan still gets promoted by people that are like
Breaking
pro-Democrat.
says, think about it. Hasan might be afraid of his audience, not so much hates them. Think about Hasan might be afraid. Yeah, he's both. I think he's afraid and hates them. It's both those things. Potentially criminal Hasan for $5 says Trump broke Pisco's brain. He's going to have a mental breakdown if he doesn't learn to chill. That is true.
Yeah, look, and
That
I
is
hope he
true.
does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
You're
sorry.
rooting for the mental breakdown.
I am. I got it.
Guys, I'm sorry. This is like an insanely crowded streaming space. What people say that my streaming has too many boxes.
Right.
Yeah, look, he's not a good person. So
No.
he is very sanctimonious and full of himself. So
Oh, I got the
I
chat
think
supporting
a
me.
mental
Let's
breakdown
go.
might help him get some humility in his life. So ultimately, it'd be
Oh,
good
so
for him.
they're rooting
Take a
for
moment,
Hasan to get a mental breakdown.
That's
Okay.
the situation. Reflection for Pisco. No, this is a guy. You're right. Sanctimonious, exact correct word. Self-righteous, sanctimonious. You know, oh, I'm so moral. I'm so great. I know all the right moral things.
I also love people criticizing Hasan for like being anti-genocide by saying, "Oh, we get it, Hasan. You're anti-moral, right?" It's like, okay, you don't have to rub it in our faces. You're a moral person. You're anti-genocide. We get it. I mean, it got so far that it's literally a joke now in the H3 community. Ethan Klein made it into a joke in that whole segment where he's like, "Oh, Hasan's too busy to talk to me because of a genocide that's going on. Oh, I guess there's a genocide, man."
Oh, God, he's like
This-
a political baby brain. He doesn't get it. He totally doesn't understand.
What? Oh shit.
No.
That's the worst too. The people who
Is
think
this
they're
guy
total geniuses, but really they're just dumbasses.
talking about me, Panzer
Hasan.
dude?
Yeah, yeah. Hasan's a good example.
Is this guy Panzer dude? He's
Oh my
supporting
God.
me.
They're not going to learn anything from the election. It's hilarious.
No.
The Republicans are probably going to overreach anyway, so they'll probably lose seats in the midterm.
Well, you know, yeah, because
Wait, are these guys Republican?
they get David Hogg to be some fucking vice chair or whatever. That DNC meeting.
Only of Florida though.
Right, but I mean, just
Yeah,
that
so
that DNC chair thing is just like.
Oh wait, are these guys just
the whole
like
meeting was
content
just this,
slop, like
gospel
drama slop YouTubers too?
fucking, you know,
oh, it's
nightmare.
horrendous.
Right.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I guess they do.
So,
They do
Um.
politics.
So, and you're right. So it's like, okay, they obviously like these people not learn anything whatsoever. But then you're right because you know you're gonna have Trump's gonna massively overreach. Republicans are gonna overreach, and who the fuck knows what horrible thing is gonna happen, both in them doing that and also the response.
Tariffs are a big fucking gamble. They're a big gamble. Look, we'll see what happens. It's so weird to me that you hear people thinking that Trump can actually get rid of the income tax and replace it with tariffs. I'm just like, what? It's
Well, that's
it's
not
like
gonna
the terrorists. I
Okay.
think are like
Okay, this is bad. Anyway, this guy Panzer dude, he's like talking with me about things, but oh my god. We should help people not die. What if they want to die though? All right, well, whatever. These guys are weird. Okay, guys. So listen, gonna get banned for brigading. Anyway, guys. So listen, I'm going to be reaching out to other content creators that have been covering this Content Nuke, and I'm going to see if I can make some kind of compilation of interviews and conversations that I have with people, and like react to stuff together. So I'm reaching out to Bad Empanada, I'm reaching out to Comrade Casey, I'm reaching out to Denims, I'm reaching out to Matt Lieb. I want to see if I can talk with Frogan. I want to see if I can talk to Hasan, even AB. But you know, Hasan, Frogan, Denims, I haven't really gotten anything back from them. But I am in conversations with some other people, and so hopefully we can. Oh yeah, Anthony Sargon from the Do Not Worry podcast. So yeah, hopefully like we can be more collaborative, because I think that, you know, this Content Nuke, Ethan Klein got what he wanted, right? Ethan Klein got people to now start dogpiling on Hasan. And the issue is, I'm almost done covering the H3 show, because I think its transformation is almost complete into a total conservative show. I really think it's almost complete into a total conservative show, because if Ethan Klein just continues to harp on the left over and over again, and he badmouths communism, he badmouths socialism, he badmouths Hasan, he badmouths Frogan, he keeps badmouthing people that are on the left, of course conservatives are going to watch that, and they're going to be the most supportive of this. So people that are not supportive of Ethan dogpiling people on the left are going to want to leave his stream, and people that are supportive of Ethan attacking these people are going to be the louder voices, causing probably Ethan to do it more. So anyway, I'm almost done with that, but I do think that it's necessary to like still cover this. Yeah, that was really weird how he was yelling at Olivia. Maybe I'll cover that tomorrow, but yeah, Ethan got super pissed off because he was told that he needed to use certain pronouns correctly. But anyway, guys, listen. I'm going to make a Discord, and I'll link it into the channel so that you guys can join that. When that link is up, then you can hop into the Discord. We can chat in there, and yeah, and then we can probably have conversations there more too. So yeah, I'm going to be reaching out to other content creators, so hopefully I can have like a ton of collaborations going on into the future, kind of talking about the Content Nuke and also just like liberal Zionism in general. So anyway, guys, I'm gonna call it for tonight. It was a short stream, I know. Thanks for watching. I'm gonna have more content for you tomorrow, and everyone, like, have a great rest of your day, man. Really appreciate all of the support, and spread the word about me. Make it easier for me to be able to reach out to people, so we can keep collaborating. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. Have a great rest of your night, and I'll talk to you in a bit.